Welcome. My name is Paul Benhaim. I began working with hemp more than 20 years ago. This picture was taken in a health food store in Finland. It is the first hemp food product I created and is in fact Europe's first commercial hemp food product. And it remains the best-selling snack food across Europe today. I've been working with Hemp Foods Australia since the year 2000. And my company, Hemp Foods Australia, was established in the year 2012 and has quickly become the largest hemp food company in the Southern Hemisphere as we work with farmers and distributors of our products around the world. My new company, Elixinol, is on track to becoming the world's largest supplier of cannabinoid extracts by mid-2015. And it is these extracts that we will explore today. But first, I want to ask you a question. Does anyone here own the latest iPhone? I think we can all agree the iPhone has truly become an enduring global phenomenon. Google the word iPhone and you will find 1.6 million search results. I did search for some other great topics covered at this conference like krill oil, 0.8 million search results, and do a search for cannabis, marijuana or hemp, and between them you'll get over 220 million search results. The wellness revolution theme couldn't be more fitting topic of hemp extracts. And when you realise the hemp revolution has the weight of 4,000 years of human history behind it, you can forget about the words like trend. You are witnessing a pillar of human civilization returning to global prominence. And what is responsible for all the current media attention? It is all because of the chemical makeup of cannabis leaves and flowers, which we can call cannabinoids. Up until now, I've been using the word cannabis, hemp and marijuana interchangeably. And just to set things straight, both hemp and marijuana are varieties of cannabis. Think of them as cousins. Hemp grows tall and thin, marijuana grows short and fat. But the leaves and flowers of both cousins contain practically the same 500 chemicals, with one major difference. Hemp contains practically none of the euphoric substance, tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC for short, which is the dominant chemical in marijuana plants. The entire chemical makeup consists of terpenes, the compounds that give herbs and flowers their pleasing flavours and aromas, cannabinoids, a class of terpene, flavonoids, the compounds that give fruits and vegetables their antioxidant properties, polyphenols, the kind of antioxidants found in green tea and dark chocolate, as well as vitamins, amino acids, proteins, enzymes, polysaccharides. Now, if you have followed any of the current media stories about the health properties of cannabis, you would have heard the word name CBD. CBD stands for cannabidiol, which is a cannabinoid of special significance. It is also the most prominent cannabinoid in hemp plants, many times more concentrated than what you will find in marijuana plants. The stories you have heard about people reversing epilepsy, cancer, pain, and a long list of other ailments have been using special strains of marijuana that are low in THC and are high in CBD, called industrial hemp. The most popular is Charlotte's Web program, grown by Stanley Brothers in Colorado. The plant was originally named Hippie's Disappointment, owing to the fact that no matter how much of it you smoke, you cannot get high. It was renamed after a little girl called Charlotte, who went from having hundreds of life-threatening seizures per week to zero after eating a high CBD oil extracted from the plant. This was me meeting the Stanley Brothers in Colorado early in 2014. And then later that day at the home of Charlotte, her parents told me that prior to feeding Charlotte CBD, she had been on every anti-epileptic drug there was. The drugs had ruined Charlotte's brain and body. They were highly psychoactive, would stop her heart beating and most importantly, failed to stop the seizures. Within hours of eating CBD oil, the hundreds of seizures stopped and in 2 years have not returned. Charlotte consumes a blob of CBD about the size of a grain of rice 2 or 3 times a day, and there are no negative side effects. Here's a short video of Charlotte.
What you will see in this presentation is remarkable. It's unlike anything that I, in my 30 years of medical practice, have experienced, and it's based on medical marijuana. You may have preconceived notions about what that means, but please watch the next few minutes with an open mind. I think you'll be astonished at what you learn.
So Charlotte has Dravet syndrome. It's a severe pediatric epilepsy. The seizures when they start with Dravet are status. They don't stop on their own, so they're 20 minutes or 30 minutes or longer. I think her first one was about a half hour. Every seizure after that for 2.5 years was a status seizure, and some were 4 hours long, 2 hours long, and at that point she's intubated in the ER, in the pediatric ICU, and medicine doesn't stop them. So that's we went through that for about 2.5 years. We got diagnosed at 2.5 years old. A few times her heart has stopped during these using these drugs, and I've done CPR on her, and a couple of those times, I just sort of let go of the fact that just to keep trying with her, and I said my goodbyes to her, and as I'm doing CPR on her or in the hospital, kind of prepared myself for the worst. And she's still here, but she's been through a lot to get to this point. The doctor, she heard her history of seizures at that time and said, we have to pull her last med that she was on. Her exact words, we have reached the end of the line with medical options for Charlotte. And I don't know what to tell you, there's really nothing else we can do. And that's when we met the Stanleys, and that's when we got started on the CBD. After 6 months I really didn't think she would survive the seizures, at 300 seizures a week, roughly, of grand mal tonic-clonic seizures a week. Just to put in light what 300 a week is, it's about 4 an hour. It's one seizure every 15 minutes. So, sometimes it was every 5 minutes. It just never stopped. And so to see her seizure-free for 7 days. She went 7 days instantly. And we've been on it 9 months, and from that 300 seizures a week, she now has 0 to 1 tonic-clonic a week. And so it's greater than 99% seizure reduction. And it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. To think that she wasn't going to survive, and look at her now, she has a life. During that time, she lost the ability to walk, talk, eat, and really just participate in life at all. She couldn't do anything. She just sort of lied in my arms, catatonic. And I thought that was it. There just wasn't a life for a person. But here we are.
Ballerina.
A lot of people think when we tell them what we're giving our daughter, their first reaction is, well, is she getting high? And no, that's not part of it at all. That's a common misconception.
There's no psychoactive side effect. It's non-psychotropic. So, but the CBD does seem to have other side effects that have been amazing, actually.
Behaviorally, it's helped her. It's helped her appetite, and I can't think of any possible negative side effect that it has had. She's just experienced a better quality of life all the way around because of it.
To be able to control seizures the way that this evidently is able to do in a condition which results in absolute uncontrolled seizure activity is unprecedented.
So it should be noted that the horrific side effects of these pharmaceutical drugs are well known, and still the drugs are approved, made legal, and given to children. It should also be noted that the Western governments have known since 1971 that cannabis safely halts epilepsy. The US government subsequently used that research to secure a patent on cannabinoids as a medicine for a multiple of ailments, while publicly claiming that cannabis has no known health benefits. In 1971, the publication Medical World News reported, "Cannabis is probably the most potent anti-epileptic known to man in medicine." According to the World Health Organization, 50 million people suffer from epilepsy worldwide. There are currently 300,000 children in the US suffering with epilepsy and 90,000 in Australia. An Australian child dies every week from epilepsy. Now here's a story from Australia. I'm going to read you a letter from Ava's mother, who obtained some of our CBD product legally. According to hundreds and thousands of anecdotal reports of people using CBD oil, yes, it is safe. Yes, watch any TV reports in Australia and someone from the government or medical establishment will appear and repeat the same 3 scripted claims. We don't know if it is safe, we don't know if it works, and there is no science to support it. So, are those claims true? According to top US government scientists, no signs of toxicity or serious side effects have been observed following chronic administration of CBD. It is not psychoactive, it is not psychotoxic, even at very high doses, and can penetrate the brain. Previous studies have also indicated that CBD is not toxic, even when chronically administered to humans or given in large acute doses. CBD is anti-epileptic and anti-anxiety. The absence of side effects allows very high doses to be used without encountering side effects or dangerous complications. Antioxidant blood levels of CBD can be up to 14 milligrams a kilo without toxicity. The dosages the government scientists have tested on humans and say are safe and beneficial are 40 times higher than what is being eaten by the children you just saw. It may come as no surprise that in 4,000 years of humans consuming cannabis, the number of deaths as a result are 0. In contrast to this, every year the number of deaths due to consuming alcohol, 3.3 million, and cigarettes, 6 million. That's one person dying every 5 seconds. These two legal drugs kill the equivalent to double the entire population of Sydney every year. The number of deaths in Australia and USA caused by properly prescribed pharmaceutical drugs now exceeds the road toll in both countries. The biggest killers are drugs for pain and mood disorders such as anxiety and depression. Dr. Lester Grinspoon of Harvard University began studying cannabis in 1967 to explore the supposed dangers. He came to the conclusion that the public had been misinformed and misled. The public are being told there is no science and no medically supervised studies. Is this true? Earlier this year, I was keynote speaker at the European and World Hemp conferences, both held in Europe. One of my friends and colleagues is a scientist from Europe. For years, my friend and I had been working with a doctor from the USA, and between them they had over 20,000 clinical case studies of safe and successful uses of CBD. If you search published scientific literature, you will find over 15,000 scientific studies conducted on the pharmacology of cannabinoids. Between 1975 and 2009, there were over 110 clinical studies on cannabis on over 6,100 patients with a wide range of conditions. Despite government persecution, US scientists have conducted more than 10 gold standard clinical trials, double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled experiments. What are they finding? Cannabinoids from the hemp plant, when consumed altogether, offer benefits to practically every cell and system in the human body. This chart is from a research paper titled Non-Psychotropic Plant Cannabinoids, New Therapeutic Opportunities from an Ancient Herb. CBD in blue has the following properties: anti-anxiety, anti-psychosis, anti-epilepsy, protects the brain, normalizes blood pressure, prevents muscle spasms, anti-cancer, anti-nausea and vomiting, antibacterial, anti-diabetes, anti-arthritis, anti-diarrhea, pain relief, anti-inflammatory, strengthens bones, prevents autoimmune disorders, and protects blood supply to the heart and the brain. So, if cannabis is so safe and effective, why is there such intense opposition? Well, as mentioned, the two kinds of prescription drugs that kill the most people are for pain and mood disorders. They're also the drugs that make the most money. Now, consider that at the top of the list of the most well-researched and understood properties of CBD are relief from pain and inflammation, anxiety, and depression. Now, this chart lists the use, side effects, and mode of action for the world's top 10 selling drugs. Most of the world's top-selling drugs act by targeting a cell receptor known as G-protein coupled receptor, listed as GPCR. In fact, 40% of all pharmaceutical drugs in the world work by targeting the G-protein receptor. In 2004 article published by the American Chemical Society, the opening paragraph reads, "If you had to make a wild guess about the target of a certain drug, your best odds are with G-protein coupled receptor." This brings us to a secret kept from the health world for over 30 years: the endocannabinoid system. In his article, The Endocannabinoid System as it Relates to Autism, Dr. Bogner says, cannabinoid receptors are the most prevalent of any G-protein coupled receptor. They're the only ones to play a direct role in virtually every aspect of the human body. And in a 2013 article in Cerebrum, Dr. Alga states, the endogenous cannabinoid system, named for the plant that led to its discovery, is one of the most important physiologic systems involved in establishing and maintaining human health. Receptors are found throughout the body. They are literally a bridge between body and mind. Your body is hardwired to require and function optimally in the presence of the cannabinoids from hemp. So putting this all together, the most prevalent G protein receptors in the body are cannabinoid receptors. Cannabinoids activate these receptors to promote health without side effects. Pharmaceutical drugs target G protein receptors but all cause serious side effects. In 2013, drug companies made $85 billion in profits. It begs the question, however, if CBD is so great, why not let the drug companies make a synthetic CBD drug? This is indeed what the Australian Medical Association is fighting for. They have openly stated numerous times the raw plant and any oils or tinctures made from it should not be legalised. They should not even be trialled. Australia should only consider synthetic isolated drugs. Their reason? The plant is unsafe. The evidence that whole plant hemp extracts are safe is overwhelming, but is the whole plant better than synthetics? Here is a short video by Dr.
Let's talk about marijuana and your brain. It's a rather complicated process, so let's start off with what's familiar to you. THC is the chemical in weed that gets you high. You feel lightheaded. Sometimes relaxed. Marijuana, you can smoke it. You can eat it. You can extract it with a vapor pen. You can inhale it with a vapor pen or consume it in an oil form. It's especially great for little kids who are taking it as a medicine. No matter the method, THC goes to your bloodstream, and there your brain is going to latch on to these special receptors. When they are stimulated, it's released dopamine. It sends signals to various nerve cells all around your body and makes the user feel high. Not all cannabis is going to get you stoned. That's because marijuana contains another chemical known as cannabidiol. That's cannabidiol. Marijuana plants that have low THC and high CBD can work really well as a medicine. They can treat things like epilepsy, pain, the ravages of multiple sclerosis, chemotherapy induced nausea, all sorts of different things. It works because the CBD chemical excessive electrical and chemical activity in the brain. I know this from a 3-year-old girl who went from having 300 seizures per month after her parents gave her cannabis with high levels of CBD. When it comes to marijuana, there's some 500 different chemical compounds. All these compounds work together. It's something known as the entourage effect. It's important because you can't just take a chemical out of marijuana and make a medicine. You need the whole plant, especially when it comes to using pot instead of pills.
The entourage effect is a term coined by scientists who have thoroughly examined how cannabinoids work and have concluded that while CBD offers a multitude of benefits, it only works in the presence of all the other chemicals in the plant. They work together in ways that pharmaceutical companies cannot copy or profit from. Synthetic cannabinoids have already been created and trialled as early as 1971, and according to the US government patent on cannabinoids as antioxidants and neuroprotectants, synthetic cannabinoids create severe side effects including fatigue, thirst, headache and hypertension. In a 2005 research paper, the author states, extensive surveys comparing patients' responses with synthetic cannabinoids such as Marinol supports a preference for whole cannabis products. In most instances, synthetic forms create intoxicating and sedative side effects. The British Journal of Pharmacology says, the synergism of CBD to cannabis pharmacology and pain relief has been scientifically demonstrated. Cannabis terpenoids are flavor and fragrance compounds common to safe human diets. They display unique therapeutic entourage effects. And finally, Sydney University was commissioned by the Australian government to investigate the medical use of cannabinoids, and their conclusion was, after considering extensive scientific and medical evidence, the committee recommended that medical cannabis should be lawfully available. The evidence indicates that cannabis has genuine medical utility. With all modes of administration, pharmacological effects may be enhanced by synergies between constituents of cannabis, not present in isolated or synthetic cannabinoid pharmaceuticals. And here's the good news. Our whole hemp CBD products from industrial hemp, not marijuana, that plus specific licenses we hold currently makes our CBD products legal for sale in Australia as long as they are sold for topical use. Here I am in a legal Australian hemp field. Our company is the only company in Australia granted an exemption that allows us to harvest the leaves and flowers from the plant, so the crops we have growing now can be turned into Australian-made CBD extracts in 2015. Opportunities now exist for companies interested in incorporating legal industrial hemp CBD extracts into their products. Whether we grow Europe or in Australia, we only use organic plants and state-of-the-art cold extraction technologies which guarantee legal THC limits and absolutely no solvents or contaminants. We currently produce bulk orders and powders and are in pre-production for capsulated products and various kinds of tinctures. And that's what you're seeing around the world right now is just a small preview of what's coming. Now is the time to get behind hemp. Thank you for your attention. If you would like to watch a copy of this presentation again, please contact us at elixinol.com or hempfoods.com.au.